From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of evenings, LALATE, with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over the fourth stimulus check and what went on today and what will happen this week as well. The fourth stimulus check is the biggest single payout you'll ever see in the history of this channel. A monthly stimulus check that starts in the month of July and continues month after month thereafter. In this recording, we go over how much you get and when you get it. Then we cut to the incredible great news about this stimulus and why this stimulus could be even bigger than we initially thought. This is the SSI reform that lifts your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, and survivor benefits. And then in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money land in your bank account today and this week. And we go over those tough love moments, which hopefully you took care of today. And if you haven't, then I'll have an update for you how you could potentially file it late tonight to get it as well. It's a great night across the board as Evenings LALATE kicks into high gear. I go over your fourth stimulus check, those monthly stimulus checks, the fifth stimulus package, and the big money you can get right now. It's a beautiful night here in Los Angeles. I'm excited you're here, and this is Evenings LALATE. And I hope you are having a beautiful Monday evening. Thank you for joining me. This is LALATE with big updates about your fourth stimulus check of 2021 today. In this recording, we go over the fourth stimulus check, how much you're going to get it, when you're going to get it, and what were the breaking, developing news today that impact your fourth stimulus check. A lot of breaking news this Monday. Then, in the second half of this recording, we go over fifth stimulus and why fifth stimulus is getting hotter and bigger than ever thought. This is the SSI and SSDI reform, also veterans and survivor benefits, and a new report and a series of reports today as well may signal that the benefits could be even higher than we initially thought. Then in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money land in your bank account today, tomorrow, and also that IRS filing of a tax deadline that is now looming upon you, that if you missed it, there may still be an option for you to fix the situation. This is LALATE, your 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel, the only one of its kind. We're broadcasting live in the morning, taped in the afternoon, and literally 24 hours a day with a 9-hour feed overnight. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers. Here we are. 1 year and just a few days. What a YouTube record. I appreciate it. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. Become part of this family by subscribing right now. I don't want you to miss a single recording across the board. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. Let's get right to the fourth stimulus check of 2021. The fourth stimulus check of 2021 took a fascinating turn on Friday and continued that turn today, as Americans wondered if the House proposal no longer looks as lucrative when comparing it to the Senate proposal. If you're watching the show live at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, jump into the live chat and vote House or Senate, but not just yet. Let's look at what happened with the House proposal in the last 3 days. The House proposal was to provide a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal was from July to December. And while we had detailed this over the last few weeks, we would always say, well, House proposal, 3 more months, let's say potentially for the pandemic plus 1 year, that's 15 months of stimulus checks. But that may no longer be the situation. More about that in a second. House proposal is $2,000 for the first month, $1,000 thereafter. The Senate proposal is an amount unknown. But word on the street is the Senate proposal would be this. Wow. A very big cash infusion fast to get you caught up on your bills. $2,000 a month over 6 months, which equals $12,000 an individual. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months for an individual, $8,400. Now, in the recent days when we were comparing the House versus Senate proposal, we would always think, well, maybe the House proposal is a lot more cumulative money because there's a lot more checks involved. 15 months, 16 months, 4 plus 12. Maybe there's 4 more months left of the pandemic. Well, this is how the situation changed very quickly and is changing quickly this Monday evening. The question at issue is, when is the pandemic over? And there's new suggestions across the board, whether you're looking at the private sector or your legislators, that the pandemic may be deemed over by the time of the vote in July. And if that's the case, then the House plan would provide you 1 year stimulus checks, no longer pandemic plus, because there is no more pandemic potentially by the time they vote. And what I mean by pandemic, I mean legislatively a pandemic. The virus is not going away. It's not going away anytime soon. So now if we look at the two proposals, House proposal would be 1 year starting the month of July, 12 months, 12 checks amounting to $13,000 versus the Senate proposal, which is potentially 6 months at $2,000, $12,000, nearly the exact same amount. Just the Senate proposals in half the amount of time. So if you're in the live chat right now, vote House or Senate. For House or Senate, I think you're going to say Senate. And now let's go to the other developing details about that. So on Thursday, the CDC announced that the mask mandate was being lifted. On Friday, the president announced that the mask mandate on White House grounds is being lifted. And over the weekend, the mask mandate was lifted by all the major big box retailers. Starbucks, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, all announced no more masks in their stores unless required by cities or states. And if you want another benchmark, here in the state of California, where the governor is a Democrat, the entire mask mandate will be gone around June 15th, which again is before the vote in July. So when would you get the 4 stimulus checks? When would there be the vote? Let's go over their representations. Remember, I'm a reporter. I just report the news. I don't make the representation. I'm not writing the bill and I'm not voting on the bill. But what do they represent? They represent the vote for the 4 stimulus will be in the month of July, for the month of July, which means your first stimulus check would land in the month of July. August would be your next stimulus check. There would be no waves, because there can't be a waves of stimulus checks, because they come monthly. The same amount of stimulus checks will be delivered to minor adults, adult dependents, and everyone else. Incredible, great news across the board. And then who gets it? You do. If you got the 3rd stimulus check, you get the 4th stimulus check. So let's go over that. Single individual, less than $75,000 annual income, you get the 4th stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you get the 4th stimulus check. Just double it. Household 4 or less, you get the 4th stimulus check. Just quadruple it. And yes, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, you get the 4th stimulus check without a wave. Incredible, great news. That is your 4th stimulus check. So if this was called to a vote then, which is what they represent, the pandemic may be over by the month of July. How do they get this done? They're currently working on it. All Democrats, no Republicans, called a reconciliation. It's a 2-bill, 2-step, 2-month process, and it's currently underway, and that is your 4th stimulus check update of 2021. Later in this recording, I'll go over more breaking details formulating just today that impacts your 4th stimulus as we go into a Monday night. But let me give you a preview of what's new and breaking news for the 5th stimulus package, and it's coming up in the second half of this recording. I literally have a 30-minute jam-packed recording with you, covering a lot of money. So get a pen and paper out, sit back and enjoy this 30-minute video and stay to the very end, because there's a lot of money throughout this entire video for all different types of people tuning in. 5th stimulus heats up this fall. And like 4th stimulus, it's a 2-bill, 2-step, 2-month process. Starts in the month of September and goes out thereafter. And what is 5th stimulus? It provides SSI and SSDI reform. Who is this for? It's for you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, and SSA, they will raise your benefits up to a new big benchmark. But minutes ago, actually, early Monday morning, one of the major federal heads of a regional federal division of the Federal Reserve spoke about the inflationary rate, which your benefits will be tied to, and gave us incredible great news. So could your benefits actually go through the roof even more? I have his statements coming up in the second half of this recording, and more about that 5th stimulus. But now let's cut to the meat and potatoes, the middle of this recording, which is the big money land in your bank account this week, some automatic, some not automatic, some you have to do, and some you must do. What I'm going to refer to is a series of expressions. First, I'm going to refer to donut moments, where it's automatic. You can just sit back, eat your donut, glazed or cherry-filled, and just enjoy the money landing automatically. The other moments are tough love moments. And I told you that there was a deadline looming, and the deadline has now passed. So I'll explain to you how you can fix that situation. And then other monies where the deadline has not passed, but it's still a tough love moment. All right, let's get to the details. Get that pen and paper ready because, boy, I lost my pen. It's not here on set as a prop. But get your pen and paper ready because I got big money for you starting right now. The first item is rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance. And it's thousands of dollars. And it's from third stimulus. And it's landing this week. It's landing next week. It started to land last week. And what is that issue? Every viewer of this channel who makes less than $75,000 qualifies for this money. And it's about $5,000 for rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. But the totality of what I'm about to cover is about $5,000 to $20,000. And I told you when the third stimulus passed in January, this is the big enchilada of third stimulus, not just a $1,400 stimulus check. This is the big money. And you've been absolutely incredible with this. You've been so great. I've seen your private messages, your DMs, your Facebook messages as well, saying, I want to get the money. I love that because you are laser focused on getting big money, not just waiting from stimulus check to stimulus check. So let's go over this. The rent. The rent is about 4 to 6 months of rent, about $5,000. And where do you get it? You get it in 6 places. Hope you got that pen and paper ready. Let's go. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. You're asking for rent assistance because of COVID. If at any time the video goes too fast or I'm talking too fast, you can always replay it and pull down on the toggle screen. Just pull it back about a second or two to hear that section again. You're asking for rent assistance because of COVID. You do not use the word stimulus or stimulus checks. They don't understand that. You can say Biden Economic Recovery Act. And there you go. They also have money for utilities. That's a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s. Mortgage assistance and also homeowners utility bills. Next, reach out to the Department of Agriculture for SNAP. What is SNAP? It's money for food, and you can get it, and it's fortunes. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. And how much can you get? A family of 4 in Hawaii now can get upwards of $16,000 a year because of 2 executive orders, a Trump for 6 months and a Biden for 6 months that raise your benefits up 15%. Wow, we're 12 minutes into this video and we've already gotten covered $15,000 approximately for SNAP and $5,000 for rent. We're doing really great so far. And what I really love is always the input back from you. Since about Saturday, I've seen a lot of messages, people reaching out and understanding, I want this rent and I want this money right now because they're understanding this is the big payout. I don't want you to just go stimulus check to stimulus check. I've taught you that since last year. You've been very good on learning that. You don't just go from stimulus check to stimulus check. You get the other monies that were dedicated for you. Like if you're a college student, the $1,700 for college financial aid, reach out to your financial aid advisor and get that money. You don't just sit back and wait for stimulus checks. You get the other money that's given to you. Which brings me to a tough love moment. This tough love moment is about rent and utilities and mortgage assistance. And why is it a tough love moment? Because the 4th stimulus package, which we started this video on, going to a vote in July, will not have it in there anymore. It won't have rent, utilities, mortgage assistance. And even a more bigger reality check is that in September, the eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance are going away. Democrats don't want it to have it on book anymore. They want you to get this money for rent, and that's why they're lifting the eviction moratorium. So go get it. Stimulus stampede, first come, first serve. Get the money before anyone else pounces a purple hawk, and get the money before the stimulus stampede pounces. Which brings us to incredible great news, and that incredible great news is about the children. And also, incredible great news about some donut money. Let me go over some donut money. Donut money number 1. You don't have to do anything, automatically landing. I had one viewer said, my husband's entitled to $5,000. Congratulations. You're going to get that $5,000 back. Where is this coming from? Your state. Why? States have been ordered to repay back any excess unemployment benefits they paid you and asked you to refund back to them. That was no fault of your own. What's going on? The federal government has stepped in and said to states, if you overpaid citizens for unemployment benefits to no fault of their own, due to a computer malfeasance, you must return that money back to them. So let's say your state, in this case, the example of this viewer, the state had paid the husband in excess of $5,000 due to computer malfeasance, then told the husband to return the $5,000 back to the state. Now the state has been ordered to return the $5,000 computer error money back to the husband. Incredible great news. When you're going to get it? Over the next few weeks, every state is different. Reach out to your state if you want to know the exact routing times. Again, this is automatic, and it's coming to the account you have on file with the state. Which brings me to a tough love moment number 2. On Saturday, we had another donut moment. Another donut moment, which got incredible breaking news on Saturday of all days. Late in Saturday, the IRS announced to us that there will be 3 phases of this donut money. Phase number 1 is a single tax filer who has no dependents on their tax return and no other refunds. Phase 2 are single tax filers who have other dependents on their tax return. And phase 3 are joint filers like husband and wife. What is this money? It's money coming back to you from the state if you filed a 2020 tax return and paid taxes to the federal government on your first $10,200 of unemployment assistance. So congratulations, it's coming back from IRS. Phase 1 will be paid early part of this week. Phase 2 will be paid later part of this week. And phase 3 will be paid next week. How do you get it? You get it in the mailbox with either a beige or white envelope from IRS. Inside of there's a check. The check's beige, and it's written from either IRS or Department of Treasury with the note line of tax refund. How much are you getting? You're getting all the taxes you paid for your unemployment benefits to the federal government under $10,200. Here's an example. You had $9,000 of unemployment assistance. You filed a 2020 tax return. You paid $5,000 total tax bill on that IRS tax return, of which $4,000 was taxes on unemployment assistance. You're getting back $4,000. Congratulations. The only case in which it comes by direct deposit is if the direct deposit account was listed on the 2020 tax return. Again, it's being paid phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 over the next week. Incredible, great news. And now that we've covered some donut moments, it's time for some tough love moments. Tough love moment number 1 involves the children. And actually, no, let me cut back. Let me go over one of the tough love moments I forgot, which is the other unemployment. So if you did take out for federal taxes when receiving your unemployment benefits in 2021, and you took out for federal unemployment federal taxes, you need to file that tax return. But the tax return deadline's going on. So what do? Let me go over the details. If you received unemployment benefits in 2020 and took out, let's say, $100 a week for federal taxes over 10 weeks, that's $1,000. You were required to file your federal tax return by the end of today, Monday, when the personal tax return is now due, requesting back that $1,000 from IRS that you paid them, and asking it refunded back to you. I've been telling you over the last week these tough love moments, and tough love refers to when you have to do something and you must do it because the time is ticking. If you're new to this channel, I'm sorry if you just found me and you were watching another YouTuber and told you that you don't have to do anything. Or if you're on a skiing vacation this weekend, just tuned back in as a longtime viewer and missed it, I'm sorry as well. So here's what you need to know. The tax return was due by the end of today, in which you would request that money back for that $1,000 you took out for federal taxes for IRS to get that back from IRS. So what do? You can always file a late tax return. You may have a particular penalty for it, but it's better to just file a late tax return than not. Ultimately, it's lost money. And one of the solutions is to do electronically online. So at least it goes out tonight, which is currently 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, if that's when you're watching this video live. Which brings me to 3 major big details tonight, and that is about the children. If you have a child 5 to newborn, you're going to get $3,600 starting the month of July, $300 a month. Congratulations. Or if you have a child 17 to 6, you're going to get $3,000 a month per child, $3,000 per child, which is prorated $250 a month starting the month of July. Congratulations if 2 events have occurred. 1, you make less than $75,000, and 2, the IRS knows that child exists and was with you. Which brings me to tough love moment number 1. If you never file a tax return ever, and you do not believe that IRS thinks that child is with you or knows that child is with you, you were required to file a 2020 tax return by the end of the day, as I've been warning viewers all weekend long. If you did not file that tax return by the end of today, and you believe that IRS does not know those children exist with you, you're not going to get paid that money in the month of July. Here's an example. A mother of a 5, 4, and 3-year-old single parent would get $10,000 in the month of July. But if she believes that IRS does not know those children are with her, when July rolls around, if she does not file that 2020 tax return for a person like her who never files tax returns, she's going to get 0. So my advice to you again is go file the tax return late right now tonight. Situation number 2. You do file tax returns every year, but you never list that child on the tax return. Why? Maybe the child was with the ex-husband, or maybe the child was not born at the time. Then you need to file that tax return late, right away, tonight. File it immediately and get that money back from IRS. Get that money teed up for July. And finally, tough love moment number 3, the rare situation, which is you made a lot of money in 2019, you list the child, and you're not eligible for this money for the children based upon the 2019 tax return. Well, you need to get the 2020 tax return on file if you took a nosedive in your earnings and are now eligible. Why? Because IRS goes off the most recent tax return, and they're looking at the 2019 and you made too much money, they're not paying it. And there you go. Those were 3 major tough love moments that are important for you to follow. And ultimately, those tax returns were due a few hours ago, depending on where your time zone is, but at least get them on late and potentially fix the situation before it's too late. But that brings me to a major tough love moment right now. And I think no matter how many times I make this recording, I'm still going to have someone say, is anyone else missing their third stimulus check? I wonder where it is. I'm still tracking it. This is a major tough love moment right now. If you're missing a first stimulus check, a second stimulus check, a third stimulus check, a member of a household stimulus check, you categorically 100% must listen to me right now. Do not track the stimulus check anymore. Do not go to the IRS tool anymore. Do not call IRS or write IRS or ask for the stimulus check or think that there's a non-file filing tool. Go immediately after the time of this video and file a 2020 tax return and request the stimulus check back. IRS has made emphatically clear, and I made it emphatically clear all weekend long, that this is a major tough love moment. If you're missing a stimulus check by this point, it is considered a loss, IRS has said. So it's not in the mail. There's no more waves. It's not coming on a later date. It's not coming in a few weeks. It's not a situation where you can sit back and expect it to come and you do nothing. And so you must file that tax return by the end of today, requesting that missing stimulus check. Go online and get that tax return electronically filed. Finally, a very big tough love message. And I've been doing this tough love all weekend long, and I think you've resonated well and understood the basis of the tough love. If you never file tax returns because you don't make enough money, I got it. And if you're on SSI and SSDI and you're not required to file a tax return, I got it. There's a difference between not required to file a tax return and voluntarily file a tax return. Any American can file a tax return voluntarily. But in the case of the stimulus items that are covered in this video and that have been covered on this channel in the last week, I've said to you that IRS has identified these situations specifically where if you want this stimulus, which is upwards of $10,000 for some of you, like a mother of 3 kids under the age of 5, you must, categorically must, file the tax return to fix a apparent problem right now. And if you don't file it, you're categorically not getting the money ever. And so what I want to say to you as just a programming note, while I'll continue this messaging probably for another day, I think, after that, I'm no longer to talk about third stimulus checks, because at this point, the only message was you were to file the 2020 tax return by the end of Monday, May 17th, requesting the stimulus check. There is no other news to report about the third stimulus check because the situation you had to fix. I gave you the information. I gave you the news on how to fix it. And for people for the children's check in July that come over from other YouTuber channels that say it's automatically going to land for everyone, even if IRS doesn't know that child exists, I just expect a problem happen in July for new viewers who come over here. So the great news is you still have a couple more hours for the day left. It is late, but get that tax return on file. And there we go. There is money available for rent, utilities, food, internet, and also homeowners assistance. The volunteers can help you. If you cannot find it, please make the effort first to find it. They cannot help you with tax advice. They cannot help you with unemployment assistance, but they can help you with all that. And they're at the community page. Where's the community page? It's in the description of this video. It has an emoji of a house. It sends you to the webpage news.lalate.com/community. There's a picture of a series of cats on the top of the page. Reach out to the volunteers. They'll help you get that money. And I'll be back in 60 seconds with more about your fourth stimulus check and fifth stimulus package. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LA with incredible big news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 and your fifth stimulus update. How are you? This is Evenings LA. It's a Monday night and everything's all right. I have big updates about your fourth stimulus check of 2021 still coming up in this recording and big news about your fifth stimulus package. How are you? If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. 400,000 subscribers. Can you imagine 1 year in just a few days, a YouTube record? I want you part of this family. Subscribe right now. It's free to subscribe. You don't want to miss a single video across the board. And guess what? 2 more videos coming up tonight. Crypto Tonight coming up next in 2 hours from now at 7 o'clock on the West Coast, 10 o'clock on the East Coast, followed by our LA late night, overnight feed. That's at 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 hours of programming, a lot of fun, live chat. And with that, let me get to the breaking news about fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is that major SSI, SSDI reform coming this fall. When is fifth stimulus? In September. A two-step process, just like fourth stimulus. Unlike a stimulus check being added in, here they're adding in SSI and SSDI reform. First, let me go over it, and let me go over the breaking news that came out of Atlanta today that is absolutely incredible, and it follows along the notion of what we heard on Friday from Jeremy Siegel. So SSI and SSDI reform comes in the fifth stimulus, and it will provide you incredible changes across the board. Those changes are increasing your benefit limits, removing the asset limits, and adding an inflationary benchmark, then removing the marriage penalty and removing the income exclusion. Let me go over those details, and let me go over the breaking news that impacts that money. First, who's you? It's you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, you'll be raised up to a new number, and that will be your new number going forward. Next, your new benchmark will be inflation. So you know how this works. Every December you get a letter that says, hi, next year we're increasing you by this percentage based upon the benchmark. If the benchmark says if inflation is 2% in December, then you go up 2%. You heard the incredible great news on Friday when Jeremy Siegel, professor of school at the Wharton School of Business, came out and said that the inflationary rate may be 20% this December, which would be absolutely incredible great news for you, because that would mean your benefits would raise up under fifth stimulus and then jump another 20% in January of next year, if that really is the inflationary rate in December. Well, what's the breaking news today? The breaking news today is coming out of Atlanta, as the Atlanta Federal Reserve President Raphael Bostic told CNBC that he thinks that the inflationary rate could still change, and he's not going to predict what's going to happen later this year. I actually think we have a healthy level of inflation. It's a good sign that the economy is healthy. So if we don't have an economy that gets people employed and get more sustainable trajectory, then we're going to have a much more difficult problem to face. But that will translate into everyone who's concerned and lower wage distribution. So he's basically saying that inflation may move one way or the other. Last week, we saw the consumer price index come at 4.2%. And Bostic's Atlanta Fed tracker is putting second quarter growth at 10.5%. So out of Atlanta, he's predicting very strong growth and potentially a very high inflationary rate. But he says, I'm not going to guess on it yet. And I think that it could be very robust. So the totality of the statements are don't know if it's 20% if Jeremy Siegel's correct, but it may be a lot more than 2 or 3 or 4 or 5%. It may be 8, 9, 10% inflation, which is incredible great news for you. If that's the case, your benefits would raise up on the fifth stimulus and then raise up that additional inflationary amount this December. Let's say it's 8%. You would raise up 8% more. And that would be your benefits going forward. Lifetime, it would never step down. The benchmark steps up or stays stable. And so if it's 8% this year, it would step up 8%. If next year it's 0, it's just flat. It doesn't step down. So this is incredible great news. What are the other provisions of fifth stimulus? Well, they are removing the asset limits, then removing the income limit. So if you want to go work, you can work, and then removing the marriage penalty. Love will conquer. Incredible great news. And finally, let's go back to fourth stimulus. And why there was a major sort of buried news article today, which I found fascinating for purposes of fourth stimulus. It's important to understand that over the weekend I detailed to you that legislators, both Republicans and Democrats, both congressional legislators and local state governors have done a great job in really understanding that fourth stimulus has unemployment stimulus, rental stimulus, and stimulus checks. And they all universally agree, and this is where the great news is, that stimulus checks need to be sent out because stimulus checks are catch you up to date on your bills. If you are behind your bills, both Republicans and Democrats agree that the stimulus check is the instrument to get you caught up on your bills. Those same leaders, however, also agree that unemployment stimulus may need to end in September, if not earlier. That rental assistance absolutely needs to end in September, if not earlier. And so now they're clearly separating the spectrum between stimulus checks, which they universally agree about, and other stimulus, which they think need to end. And what else was seen in that article, which I found today? A new Politico article says that starting in the next few weeks, the Temple of Doom will be back. Yes. So the Temple of Doom literally will be back, meaning the Republican strategists are now detailing that for the midterm elections, they will not be using the President of the United States, Joe Biden, as their poster child to win House or Senate seats. Rather, they're going to take on Nancy Pelosi. The reason why is they think that Nancy Pelosi's legislative history is the one that is better at aim to take homage at. And that while the president may have a certain level of popularity and not popularity, they think it's Nancy Pelosi and her legislative history that is the best chase for them to win seats in Congress. What do you think? I think you have an opinion. Drop your comments in the comments below. Do you think it's time for Nancy to go? Ironically, last year there was talks that Pelosi may retire this year, so I'm not quite sure how they would use Pelosi as their focal point in the midterm elections, starting campaigns just in a few months from now. But fascinating news across the board. And that's Evenings LALATE. I'm back with you in 2 hours from now as I return with Crypto Denied. I don't want you to miss a single recording. That is a hit show, and boy, people are making fortunes from this channel. Some of the coins I've recommended are up 50% in just 2 days, up 75%. They are just zooming to the moon. So I want you to tune into that show. It is easy breezy. It's a beginner show. You can learn a lot, have a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. It's a fun show, and it's really picking up traction. Then after that is our 9-hour overnight feed. So subscribe once you're part of this channel. Like this video. Consider becoming a member. And I'll see you back in just 2 hours from now as LA continues tonight here from Los Angeles.